welcome to day 2 of the Cryptid road trip, where today is probably going to be about the same, like time-wise, as yesterday, because I have about 10 and a half hours of driving, and then 13 stops to go to, because I had to add the last 2 from yesterday on, and there's going to be some hiking bits, but got all my cards ready, got all my stuff ready to go, and there's nothing else lying around, so I guess without further ado, I'm going to start the day. So I made it to the Fountain of Youth. Definitely a good choice that I did this in the daytime. There it is, and just kind of on the side of the road here at a little viewing area. But it seems like there's a path here leading up to the fountain. I'm going to try and make my way down there. So this place was built in the 1930s, and it was believed to have been built on a natural spring that had a rejuvenating aura to it, thus dubbed the Fountain of Youth, because it made you feel youthful from drinking its water. And it lasted until about 1955, when people started getting sick from this place, and it was shut down shortly after that because you can't have a rejuvenating fountain of youth that makes people sick. Okay, made it over here pretty nicely. But people think it actually might be a leaky pipe from the golf course nearby. Oh yeah, there is still a dripping sound, but I think I'm gonna oh, hello. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, if it was a natural spring, it would be coming up from there. So that there is probably water from yesterday's storm. Lots of graffiti here. Yep. Found the Fountain of Youth. Better angle my camera better. Got a bunch of sticks down there. I wonder why is that? It's people throwing sticks down there. All that back wall looks silver too. Interesting. But yeah, I wonder like what's on top of here. Just woodland. That's probably not super safe to drink. Alright, so I'm gonna get my picture here. So it does seem like there's a small path up here. Might as well see what's up there. Got a little dome piece, and just a hill. Right. It doesn't seem like we can get to our next spot from here. It's just on the other side of this woodland area. But I guess it's better to drive than to leave my car here and trek through it. Okay, we're good. Whoop, nope. Okay, now we're good. There's a little pretty creek. This goes down there. I'm super glad I did this in the daytime. Next stop at Blue Mist Road, or its proper name, Irwin Road. There's some legends about the mist that rolls in at night, as well as what do these signs say up here? No meter prohibited. Yeah, because Irwin Road is this road right here, and then this blocked off path for hikers, it looks like, or maybe that's private. And then there's what looks like someone's house on this path, because there are people's houses in this little park over here. It's not little, it's massive, because I drove through it to get here from the last spot. It's quite beautiful. But it's interesting that it's just this one road that's not particularly interesting. I guess it's not interesting in the daylight, and there's no spooky mist. But some of the tales are quite varied, but they all revolve around the mist coming in at night. One story is that there's a witch who lives here in one of the houses, and it doesn't get into too much detail about anything else other than there's a witch who lives here. There's one called the Midget Farm. A group of little people will just come out and attack your car. That's it. And then there's a cemetery nearby where two headstones are kind of leaning toward each other. And there's a tale about that they're lovers, and whenever the moon shines, they try and lean their tombstones further together to kiss. And apparently they're like a few inches apart now, so they're getting there eventually. But yeah, not a super remarkable stretch of road, because it's all this sort of scraped asphalt texture. I guess so hikers can hear you coming in your car, and they'll get out of the way if they don't see you. I think I read something about this mailbox here belonging to the witch, but I guess it's just someone's mailbox, because they gotta get mail. So I think I'll drive back up to the head of this road, because I didn't know this was Blue Mist Road to begin with, because that's the local name. And its proper name is Irwin Road. So I guess I'll go back up to the head and take my picture. But yeah, this is a pretty beautiful park to come to, because I drove through it to get here. Lots of hills and paths to take. Got some lake views. Yeah, I'm pretty glad I came here in the day. Here at a Green Man's Tunnel, named after a local legend of the Green Man, also known as Charlie No Face. The tunnel, here's a road tunnel, and then it looks like there's a smaller tunnel up over there. And the interesting thing about this tunnel is that it's like 1.5 cars wide. So people have to stop and honk before going through it. Just strange that it's so narrow, but yet so robust in its construction. I guess this was like maybe a one-way street at one point, and it eventually widened to two. Wow, it's very busy right now, right when I got out of my car. But yeah, this place is named after a local legend, which interestingly enough, it's almost like an inverse urban legend. All right, nobody's coming. In that the locals knew what was happening, or they knew about this, like they knew the truth, and travelers that came by didn't, which then sparked like ghost stories. Wonder what happened here. In that they would come by here and they would see this man with green, what looked like green skin and no face. You got like some sort of cipher here. Interesting. And then sometimes he would hide in the bushes and run away from them because he didn't want to get seen, which then spooked them even further, and then eventually it spread. But in reality, the Green Man is a real person. His name is Raymond Robinson. I'm sure there's no relation to Rose Robinson for MetaZoo. But when he was 8 years old, he was climbing a pole to get to a bird's nest. And he fell onto trolley cables, which are highly, or have a high electrical current going through them. And he lost his face, or he lost his eyes and nose and right arm. And from then on, he became very shy and recluse. But he still liked to go on nighttime walks. And he used a stick to find his way. And I guess he came through this area quite often. What else is there? So he would wear this green military jacket, and in the headlights of cars, it would kind of reflect off his pale skin, making him look green. But sometimes he would, or people would like stop him, and, like just kind of hang out with him, like smoke a cigarette, just chat, which is pretty nice. But then occasionally he would be offered like a ride home, and then they would just drop him off at a complete random spot, just play prank on him, which is a bit mean to do on a blind person. Also for the legend of the Green Man, the not Raymond version, but like the sort of suspected version made up by people who saw him, was that he was struck by lightning, which is kind of close to falling on electrical cables. Yeah, nice tunnel through a hill. I assume that's a railroad up there, because I can see some black gravel. So yeah, I wonder why this part's filled with sand. Just leads to a gravel path, and you have a bit of pavement right here. So I guess I'll take a picture of the path down there. That seems a bit nicer for a picture. Oh, you have a coordinates here. Wonder what those lead to. Maybe right here. That would be interesting. So yep, that's the Green Man, also known as Raymond Robinson. Outside of a steel mill right now with a big Joe Magarac statue over there, but it's a bit noisy and busy on this road right here, so I'm just gonna tell the story in my car. And I just finished the notes for what I'm about to say, and it's the first time I actually read through his story, because in I think 3rd grade I remember reading about a bunch of folk heroes like Paul Bunyan, John Henry, and what's her name? Sally Ann, Thunder Ann Whirlwind. That's the right order. But Joe Magarac never came up. And one thing I read in my research is that he first appeared in a 1931 magazine, but in the magazine he was portrayed at it was like a local legend from a Pittsburgh steel mill about stories that this person just published or gathered and then published. but further research into that seems like there's no history beyond that point. So the publisher probably just made him up on the spot to sell magazines or inspire workers. But anyway, the story goes that he's either Hungarian, Serbian, Croatian, or Bohemian from like southern, central, west, that's east Europe. And then he moved to Pittsburgh. Wait, I just realized if he's from these European countries, one of his origin stories has him being born from an iron ore, instantly saving a bunch of miners or workers from a crucible that fell, and it weighs 50 tons, so right from birth he's super strong. But also it says that he's made of steel, which isn't the best idea to work at a steel mill if you're made of steel, because then you'll be melted down. One of his deaths or possible endings is that he melted himself down to make a new steel mill, which is, I guess, nice, but if you're just a human-sized piece of metal, you're not going to get that far making a whole new plant. So at that point, it's not really worth it, because if you can supposedly do the work of 29 men and you work literally non-stop every hour of every day of all year long, you're gonna be better being alive and working. But another ending is that he's still alive and he's waiting for the furnaces of a mill to come back up again. But if he works so hard, he could probably figure out how to get back on, or just move to this one right here. And another little bit is that he won the hand of a Mary Mastrovich, but he didn't end up marrying her because he wanted her to be happy with her true love, Pete Pusak. So that was nice of him. All around a good guy. He's a hard worker. He understands other people's feelings, and he'll sacrifice himself for the better cause. So I think that's it for the notes. And I'm gonna walk over to the statue real quick and take a picture. One thing I forgot to mention as well, clearing out all the subjects, all the cards for my video, is that on Joe Magarac's card, and cut him out, I never noticed. You gonna focus? Focus. I'll just pull back. Spring Hill Jack is on the building, right here. He blends in super well. I didn't even notice him there. But yeah, it's pretty neat. This area is still making steel to this very day, and maybe the workers here can be inspired by Joe Magarac to get the work done. So I'm here in New Kennington at the intersection of North Street and Constitution Boulevard, I think. Here for the Green Thing. And the only source I could find online for this is the original newspaper, because searching Green Thing and Cryptid and variants of that just doesn't get what you want. But Green Thing New Kennington got me the original article, which claims that at this intersection, there were a bunch of kids at a storm drain, and there's one across the street there, and then there's one here. But I think it might be this big one across the street here. But yeah, a group of kids poking at something in the storm drain. Then an adult came by and asked them what they were doing, and said, "Oh, there's a green thing down there." And eventually, rumors spread about this little thing in the sewers, and it just became like a short little legend, it seems like. Got the attention of some cryptozoologists, or you ufologists, UFO people, trying to lure out the creature, but didn't take any of the bait. And as far as I can tell, there's just that one sighting by those kids who, one of them actually grabbed it, like put it in like a headlock, I think. But yeah, but I would love to know more about this, but it seems like it's just the one article, and then it was just local legend from there. So I'll take my picture and head further east. Here at Gobbler's Knob, which is the fairgrounds for the Groundhog Day Festival on every February 2nd, where people gather to see if the legendary Punxsutawney Phil sees the shadow and predicts 6 more weeks of winter. And the ceremony goes up over here. I think this is the entrance. But they all gather around this stage, and the groundhog comes out of his little burrow, and what's called the inner circle is the group of well-dressed men in their suits and top hats. Then speak to Phil, or the president does, in groundhogese, by using his magical cane that lets him understand the groundhog. But and if he tells the guy that he sees a shadow, then there's 6 more weeks of winter. And I think this has been going on since 1886, if I remember correctly. But here's the stage, and supposedly there's only one Phil who's been alive doing this festival every year, and you can see him in town. So maybe I'll head over there after this to possibly see him. And he stays ever useful by drinking groundhog punch, or the elixir of life. It's a little fun holiday. It seems to come from Germanic or Celtic culture, where people would look at a hibernating animal, see if they come out of their burrow, and see if there's more winter to come. Which kind of makes sense, because animals will be more in tune with nature and like, nah, I want to sleep for 6 more weeks, which is pretty relatable, because it's always nice to sleep. So I'm now in the center of Punxsutawney, right around Phil's burrow. Should be right around this corner. And just coming into town, there are groundhogs everywhere. Like there's one as the Statue of Liberty, there's one as like a baseball player, there's one as a mailman, there's one as a police officer back where I came from, and then here's him as an inner circle member, and then this should be where Phil is. There he is. Oh, well, you can't really see him because of the reflection. Well, this is some dirty glass, but there he is. This is all dirty from fingerprints. Yeah, he's can you like block him? The reflection. There he is. It's Punxsutawney Phil. I wonder if I should take a picture, or if the glass is going to be too reflective, but I could always try. And if not, I took one at Gobbler's Knob. But yeah, it's almost like how Rhinelander is with their hodags. You got Punxsutawney and their groundhogs just everywhere. It represents the whole town. They have whole holiday. So it would be pretty fun to come here on February 2nd. Just enjoy the festivities. But unfortunately it's not. It's almost Mothman festival time. Gotta hurry on over there. Except I'm continuing to go further and further east until I can't go east anymore. After a long drive to Philadelphia, and after possibly losing some of my sanity along the way, I made it to the site of the Purple Blob of Philadelphia, which is a little hard to understand exactly where, because the report says it's on Var Avenue near 26th Street. If I flip the camera around, that overpass is Var Avenue, and I'm on 26th Street now. But that's like a pretty busy highway with nowhere to pull over or park, or even for that. But here on 26th Street, there's a little alcove to pull over in. So I don't know quite how the geography all lines up. It was about 70 years ago, so things could have changed in that time. But the story begins with two officers patrolling, seeing something strange fall from the sky. So then they come over and investigate. And to their astonishment, they find a purple blob, surprisingly, about 6 feet in diameter and 1 foot tall at the center of it. So, pretty substantial amount of goo. And they eventually radio back up for another 2 officers to come take a look at it. And in that time, it seems that the glob is like vibrating and making its way up a nearby telephone pole. It's a bit of an odd detail that it's making it seem like it's more alive, and it's trying to work its way up a pole, but it like logically you would have thought like it would have fallen from the sky and it would have hit the pole and it would just kind of ooze down, but it's going back up, interestingly. So the 4 officers are now there all looking at this glob, and eventually one of them decides to touch it, and he breaks off a part, and in his hand it almost instantly evaporates, leaving just like an odorless, like scum almost, is what the article said. And then shortly after that, the rest of the glob evaporated. So the whole event lasted about 30 minutes, and then nothing was left behind. And that's the end of the Purple Blob of Philadelphia. But 8 years later, the blob encounter happened in 1950, but 8 years later, there was the movie The Blob, which was inspired by this incident. And I've actually never seen that movie, so I guess I'm gonna have to watch that now at some point. But I think that does it for this spot, so I'm gonna work my way. I think it's more like pretty central Philadelphia to the next spot. So the joint snake is actually a creature from the south or southwest, as the legend goes, but it's most famously seen in the Join or Die cartoon from the Pennsylvania Gazette? The Philadelphia Gazette. I think it's the Pennsylvania Gazette. But the Join or Die snake is a joint snake too, depicting the original 13 colonies, even though there's only 8 segments, but those were what the people at the time considered to be the true colonies was those 8. But it was printed at this building over here that I'm going to take a picture of shortly, or by the company who works here. I don't know if they moved or not or anything like that. But yeah, the Joiner Die cartoon was to show this pleasure of all the taxes and acts inflicted by the British, showing that the colonies will have to join together or they will perish. But the actual joint snake, is a snake that can like break off segments of its body and still all live. There's a real animal called a glass snake, also known as a legless lizard, because it's technically a lizard and not a snake, but it has no legs and it just looks like a snake. It's kind of confusing, but either way, it has the ability to shatter parts of its body, mainly its tail, of course, because then it'll just die if that doesn't have a head. But it'll break off its tail and then it'll grow it back and be fine. So that's probably the origin of the joint snake. And I think that's about it. Finally made it to the hotel in Leeds Point for the Jersey Devil and a few other guys, but getting pretty tired, so I might as well just handle them in the morning. And of course, whenever you get a new hotel, you gotta check for bed bugs. Nope. And what's this? Speck. All good there. And then you gotta check under the bed. It's just a solid piece for dead bodies, because you never know what you might find. But yeah, today was a pretty eventful day. We found the source of eternal youth, found a spooky trail, found a can't think of anything for it, but we found the green man, to a Magarac, green thing, Punxsutawney Phil, and I didn't get around to those two because they closed at 5. And I arrived at this first one at like 8:30. So I guess just in general, there was nothing I could have done about it. But these two are both caves, and they have like just a little small legend attached to them. But I mostly just wanted to go on a cave adventure, but I guess the universe says no. We did the purple blob and joint snake. And then here in Leeds Point, we have the black dog, golden haired girl, and the Jersey Devil. But I think I'm going to try and wake up at sunrise for her picture, and then I'll do him next, because I think the place I want to go for him is closed right now, so that'll probably open up in the daytime, and then I think he'll be a better picture in the day. So yep, that was day 2 of my Cryptid road trip adventure. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again later.